Hi, y'all. Welcome back. If you're new here, welcome. This is Cozy Pow. And basically, we're going to talk about nonprofits. So if you haven't heard, I recently got a job at a nonprofit. And I'm really happy and excited because I will be starting soon. That's not going to take away from this channel or anything. And I am still trying to find a full-time gig because this nonprofit is a Saturday-only gig. And though I am very grateful and very fortunate, I still need a little bit more of additional income to make a living. That being said, I am going to help you guys out by telling you what the questions were for this nonprofit and the experience through it all. Because yeah, it was a little bit different and I've actually never applied to a nonprofit, and the fact that I got it on the first try is kind of impressive to me. Let's jump in and I'll let you know all of my secrets. So the interview process was really straightforward for the most part. It was 3 rounds and it was a little bit overwhelming at times, but they were really nice about it and they were super transparent. So at the beginning, I was told that there was around 22 applicants for this position specifically. They narrowed it down to the first, I believe, 10. And so from that pool of 10, they did do an initial phone screening, which reduced it to 5. The initial phone screening was just to ask questions about your previous employer and to see what you were looking for in this job. The main idea was to see if you were a fit time-wise, because for this job specifically, they were looking for someone who had Saturday availability and also during the week, which I have both. So the phone screening questions were basically a get to know you and if you understand the rules and terms of this position. They asked me like, okay, are you a student or did you already graduate? Did you know that this is a Saturday only position? Is that okay with you? And then just a little bit about yourself, like a little fun fact. So nothing major. The HR lady was really nice. Shout out to her. She made me feel really comfortable and it felt like actually like talking to a friend rather than talking to someone from HR. So for the most part, I don't remember the specific questions for that because it was just 3 questions. It was more of a disclaimer than an actual interview. And yeah, they did narrow it down to 5. Now the second round was an in-person one-on-one with the actual manager. When I went there, I greeted the admin there and I was told to just wait for her. We ended up going up to her office and we had our one-on-one and I was really nervous, I won't lie. And I actually did have the option to go do it virtually or go in person, and I decided to go in person because I felt like they would appreciate that more. I feel like older people really appreciate in-person one-on-ones rather than them having to figure it out through Zoom or Teams. I don't know. But she seemed to like it because I sat down with her and the interview itself took about an hour. I think she was just trying to get a feel for me. And now these questions I do remember. So the first one was, tell me about a time you worked with a diverse group of people. And specifically, like, what have you done, you know? And so, like, you know, I have a background in local government. So, of course, I have a bit of experience catering to a diverse group of people, specifically people with, you know, different backgrounds and even like language abilities. They may even speak a completely different language. And, you know, they were wondering if I was comfortable with like different types of people. And I should have told her like, of course I'm comfortable. I've lived in nothing but that. I'm excited to help people out, specifically the people who usually it's hard for them to ask for help, if that makes sense. Like, even like working at the library, if you're trying to look for a book and the person there only speaks English and you're trying to convey them like the message of like, I want this book specifically, can you help me, in a different language, of course there's going to be a language barrier and of course there's going to be some miscommunication and like mistranslation and all things above. The main idea is just to see how you would cater to those people. And for me specifically, I've always tried to help people by controlling my body language first, because nothing speaks louder than body language. Like, if you are talking to somebody who doesn't understand a word that you are saying, what they will understand is if you're being kind with your tone and your vibe in general, and if you're patient and understanding rather than, oh, you're just trying to get this done so you can get them out of the way and move on to the next person who does speak English, right? Yeah, I just let her know that catering to a diverse group of people is like catering to anybody else. You just need to be kind and you need to be patient. And you also need to give yourself a little bit of grace because, yes, it can be frustrating for both parties, but you are the professional, and so you have to hold your own when it comes to that situation. The second one was just like, what's a healthy workplace to you? Maybe they're trying to see like what type of workplace I'm comfortable in terms of like environment. And I told her like when everybody communicates efficiently, specifically for me, because if I'm new and I don't know what's going on, like I'd rather someone communicate what is going on rather than me having to try to figure out how to do XYZ. I really like being a solo player, but there is a time and a place to do that. And for me specifically, I love also like working in a group and a team effort. I let her know that I'm comfortable with both, but a healthy workplace to me is where there's just open communication. I think she really seemed to like that answer. So the third question was, how do you prioritize something when everything is urgent? And for me, that's really easy just because I have worked office jobs before. They love it when you tell them that you are organized and that you have a color coordinating system, which I do. If you color coordinate everything in terms of like what's urgent, what's not, you get things done. And I let her know that for me specifically, I look at everything that needs to get done, and then I try to find due dates or due times. Now, she said everything is urgent that day. That's fine. Then I knock out the easy stuff first. Why? Why the easy stuff? Why not leave that towards the end? Easy stuff encourages me to just knock it out and just keep going. I'm on a roll, basically. You just start that pace and you just keep going. Little things here and there that like catch you up can be done in a flash, and then you get to basically hone in on the most important things and take your time on it, because if they're big and they're important, you're gonna want to take your time on it, and then you're not gonna be rushing to do all the little other stuff that you held off until the end. I think she really liked that answer too, because she was just like, maybe I need to get like a color coordinated planner or something. I did bring my planner to the interview, by the way. So like, what makes you a good fit for this role was another one of the questions. And I was just letting her know that I love like community. I love talking to people as well. And I feel like just overall helping people within this role will like fulfill me in some way. It was kind of a really personal question if you really think about it. And I kind of wanted to be like, because I feel like I would thrive here, you know, without really boosting my own ego and saying like, I think I'm perfect, right? I think when asked this question, you just need to be honest with not only yourself, but with the actual person that you're talking to, because they're gonna see right through you if you lie. I just told her the truth, which was like, I think I would really thrive here in terms of just environment. So far, even the interview process has been great because everyone has been so kind to me, from the HR lady to the admin that I just spoke to even you. I feel very comfortable right now just speaking to you here in this office. And I feel like everybody is like in that same frequency of we're just here to help people out. And I would love to be a part of that. The last one was, of course, the most basic one that you can ever think of, which was, what does our mission mean to you? Now, I'm gonna need you to be prepared for this question. If you haven't done your homework before you step into that one-on-one meeting, then you have already failed. I'm so sorry. I always come prepared. I always try to research everything about the company that I'm applying for, even a day beforehand, in case this comes up, because it's such a dead ringer that you're just out and about trying to get a job. Obviously, we're in it for the money, but they want someone that actually cares, specifically for nonprofits, because that's kind of a big deal to them, is their mission. And so, of course, the day before, I searched up their mission, their core values, and even their like content branding, because to me as a marketer, I really like to see just branding of a company. And so I let her know, like, I feel that the mission pertains to me because, you know, when I saw that one of your actual core values was integrity, and that really spoke to me. And I spoke a little bit about that and how like it's so meaningful to me that that's part of your core values. I also expressed to her that like, in general, I love what they do to the community, how they help the community, and like their efforts that they've done so far to empower them. I guess another tidbit in terms of answering this question was just make it about like community impact. If you know someone that's actually been impacted personally to you, let them know about it. Not their specific situation, but like how, you know, they actually helped, or how you volunteered, or some way, somehow, how the community has been impacted and you've seen that change happen. They love it because it's kind of like your boots on the ground and you are letting them know, you're reporting them back as a person from the outside looking in, like, I think your, nonprofit is actually doing some good, and here is why. I did let her know that I personally did know people that were impacted, and I have also volunteered there a couple of times with other companies, of course, to just help out. So the next step of the process was actually another interview. This time it was virtual because it was a panel of people, 3 people to be exact. One was from HR, one was the manager, and the other one was actually the person who had that position and who has now moved up within the company, which I was like, that is really cool and refreshing to see. The questions that they asked were a little bit repetitive because they were like the exact same questions that were asked, in the phone screening just for 2 other people. We did get to talk a little bit more just like in person because they did have like other questions specifically just for me and just to like dig a little deeper rather than just like the pieces of paper that they had in front of them. And they were just really interested in like who I am, what I do, what's my vibe, like what are my plans for the future. And within that, after like telling them a little bit about myself, I started asking them questions because I'm like, you know what? If they're interviewing me, I might as well interview them because I may have to work with them. And they really liked that because I got to ask them questions about like, why did you join? How do you find this fulfilling? What is like one thing that you found like so impactful that you were so proud to be a part of? They really liked that one. And I really like just breaking out of that interview structure, like how they ask you a question and then you answer, then they ask you another question and then you answer. I really like just having like a casual conversation, right? And I think they really felt that. I did let them know that I am going back to school and I have been accepted to graduate school. And they also let me know that they actually promote a lot of people within the company. They love like upward mobility and the fact that this position is like highly cultivated as like the gateway position to moving up, which is why the person who was on my panel was the person that I'm replacing, right? So I found that really cool and encouraging because a lot of companies don't do that anymore. They don't want you to like move from that position. They just ask, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? And you're just like, obviously here, lying through your teeth. But yeah, that was basically it. It was really simple this time around, just the 3 rounds. I was really refreshing, and every time they were just so kind. The rest of it was really straightforward, just like a normal job. I did get an offer letter. I did have to go through a background check and a drug screening, and I'm so happy to start soon. I hope this helps, and if this brought any value to you, please like and subscribe, and of course, please visit your local library because they need your support. Stay cozy out there, y'all. Till the next one. Bye.